Yes, people, I want to show you that don't believe in a hand unless but a promise. But I'm going to show you something tonight. Let me juggle on you, man. People, let me steam up the engineer. Yes. I want you to listen to this.
Said the dollar is stable. 90 million US was dumped this week trying to save the dollar. That's where I want to start, Ralston. If you say the economy is doing well, the dollar is stable, how is it possible that 3 times in 1 week, the Bank of Jamaica had to intervene in saving the Jamaican dollar? Talk to me.
The answer is simple. The Prime Minister don't know anything about economics and he's out of touch with the economic reality. So what he's doing is going around and spreading a whole lot of propaganda. The Bank of Jamaica had to intervene in foreign exchange with $90 million this week to get the dollar from $159.48 to $158.83, simply because the country is not focused on production and exports and not generating enough foreign exchange in order to run the economy. Just as simple as that.
So you spend 90 million US, because we want to make that clear. That is United States dollars, 90 million to save less than $1.
And hold on, this is this week. In previous weeks, they have been doing the same thing. Remember, the dollar hit the 158 barrier. Since it hit the 158 barrier, they have been intervening, and we still reach the 159 barrier and going to 160 because the country is just not generating enough foreign exchange. The trade deficit was 2.3 billion for the first 5 months of this year because exports continue to fall from a low base because Nigel Clark don't know anything about production and export. He's just a bookkeeper moving numbers from one place to the other.
Now, Ralston, there are some serious issues laid out here. And one other thing I want you to explain to my listeners before we go any further. Spending this money to save the dollar, does it carry a positive effect or a negative effect for the country?
Because every time you intervene in the foreign exchange markets, you waste US currency and then the dollar goes back to the same level or drops even further. So it's a counterproductive, it's a wasteful exercise in futility and stupidity. What you need to do is to concentrate on production and exports and production for import substitution because those are the things that are driving down the value of the dollar. The government is not focused on production. The Planning Institute now tells us that the economy is flatlined during the second quarter, April to June, 0.1%. So Clark's growth record is very bad.
No.
Exports continue to decline back to back for 5 straight months.
All right. So we can understand export declining as well because what happened to our agriculture base? Is that back to where the production used to be before Beryl?
No, man. You man.
All right. Ralston, I don't want people, I don't want to get emotional about this because this is very bad and people don't understand. So you spend 90 million US dollars making US dollars available.
The intervention over the last 2 months is more than $200 million.
200 million US.
Over the last 2 months.
What that do to the debt? What that do to our debt? Because where we get that money from?
Well, that is from the net international reserves. So some of those money are the monies that flowed from the tourism sector, flowed from mainly remittances. So now that the remittances are declining and the exports are declining, that is why you are seeing this massive pressure on the dollar. So for example, when they did the first intervention, they pumped 30 million in the market, but the market wanted 76.5 million, and that is why they went back again and pumped another 30 million. And that is why they went back again and pumped another 30 million, because we are really Christmas season now, and everybody is importing.
But hold on, if it needed 76 million, why you never just pump that one time instead of go 90 million over 3 times?
Well, you have to ask the governor of the Bank of Jamaica and his team about that.
Ralston, there is no production happening.
No.
Beryl destroyed the agricultural sector. The minister said it is about $10 billion worth of damage. Have they pumped that $10 billion back in agriculture yet?
No.
When they said they're going to do that?
They'll tell you that the assistance is very slow and all of those things. And then there's also the problem apart from the damage to crops and everything, there's also the problem with the rural road network, which was already bad. So if you talk to people like Norman Grant, the managing director of the Mavis Bank Coffee Factory, coffee is one of our biggest exports.
Right.
They'll tell you that the road is in a devastating state and it is leading to an increase.
Take that away, honey. Take that away and let me talk to my Jamaican people, because as it relates to other clips that I'll be touching, Jamaica, my Jamaica brothers and sisters, let me tell you something. The country broke. Yes, the country is broke. And so then all the promises that Andrew Owen left a promise, right, are just fictitious lies. Me to tell you that the country is broke. Fairy tale come up with. Fairy tale. And that's why this man is dangerous. This man realized that he's in a conundrum as it relates to the investigation, right, that is in pursuit where is illicit enrichment is concerned. And so then him trying and promising out everything for the means to stay in power and try to continue to corrupt the system. But the real truth is, people, the country is broke. And I'm going to show you evidence of why the country is broke. Now, we all know what is fiscal discipline, right? And for any economy, you understand, who try to deal with fiscal discipline, they will try to reduce borrowing, right, and produce more, right? So those two items that would define fiscal discipline. Is Jamaica doing that? I am going to show you some things for you to determine that. And then don't watch all of what Andrew Owen is promising. This is one of the reasons why Andrew Owen cannot fix the Troy Bridge as well. So when they make the big promises and they know that they're lying, right, and they send a tractor there, you understand? They design the trickery to turn over the tractor and then it stopped. The bridge stopped because they know them can't spend the money on that. The country is broke. Now, remember, I say and define what is fiscal discipline, right? Reducing your borrowing habits, reducing that habits of borrowing, right? And grow the economy as it relates to producing, right? Find innovative ways to produce. And when we talk about produce now, you have to look within your agricultural sector and try to be innovative, you understand, in terms of certain things that can be, be manufactured and so forth and so forth and so forth, right? For micro businesses, right? If you can, of course, educate, right, and encourage those micro businesses into macro, that is perfect, right? And so then, of course, we will help, right, in terms of paying down our debt and not, right, just paying some money, you understand, to just maintain a debt. Remember, people, and let me go through this. When Nigel Clark took over the Minister of Finance, remember, that the debt that he took over was $2 trillion. Now, what is the debt? What is the debt? The debt is now $2.3 trillion. So what that goes to say, people, we are not paying down the debt. We are not paying it down. Right? Now, so let me show you some things which are, critically serious as it relates to going forward. So I want to explain that. I want to explain that. Right? Because, again, remember, as I said, fiscal discipline is all about reducing borrowing and making sure that we are producing. Right? We are not producing. We are not producing. Right? And if we are producing, then that would help us in terms of doing what? export more and import less. Simple mathematics, people. Simple economics too. Right? But let me show you something. What Jamaica need to concern about, right? As it relates to Nigel Clark. Because Nigel Clark, right, and Andrew Holness is borrowing so much, putting the country in a deeper debt and placing the country into what we call a debt trap from the IMF. So then people look on the following clips that I'm going to play to show you evidence and proof that Nigel Clark and Andrew Holness is putting the country into a debt trap. Now, without any delay, let us lift up this clip. Let us look. 3 clips I'm going to play and show Jamaica. Let us look to show you that we are not maintaining any fiscal discipline. I want one of these days I'm going to speak to Ralston Ayman. I'm going to try to get Ralston Ayman on Mystic Sensation. Ralston, if you are listening to me, right, I want to get in touch with you, right, so that we can clarify some of these things and make people understand where we are going, Ralston. So, Ralston, if you are hearing me, I want you to reach out to Mystic Sensation. People, it's here on it.
Yeah.
Here it is, people. Jamaica gets $70 million, $75 million loan from the IDB to strengthen COVID-19 response. And this was what? March 11, 2021. But only to show you this, let me just read the first paragraph. Jamaica will get $75 million loan from the Inter-American Development Bank, right, to strengthen the efficiency and effectiveness of public policy and fiscal management in response to the debt, to the health and economic crisis caused by COVID-19. Take away that document, Tony. Take away that document. Right? Let us play the audio here.
IMF Executive Board approves $968 million CILION under the Precautionary and Liquidity Line, and $764 million CILION under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility for Jamaica. March 2, 2023. The Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund approved a 24-month arrangement under the Precautionary and Liquidity Line (PLL) in the amount of $968 million. The Executive Board also approved $764 million under the newly created Resilience and Sustainability Facility (RSF). The 24-month arrangements will provide insurance against global risks and strengthen physical and fiscal resilience to climate change, advance decarbonization of the economy, and manage transition risks. Washington, D.C. The Executive Board of the International Monetary Fund (IMF) approved a 24-month arrangement under the Precautionary and Liquidity Line (PLL) with access of $968 million, 190% of quota, to provide insurance against risks from higher commodity prices, a global slowdown, tighter than envisaged global financial conditions, and new COVID outbreaks. The Executive Board also approved an arrangement under the Resilience and Sustainability Facility (RSF) for $764 million.
Take it away. You're here, people. Government signed US $12 million World Bank loan agreement for Kingston Waterfront Improvement Project. And this is October 20, 2024. You understand this? This is the most recent loans, right? Now, here it is. To Nigel Clark there. You understand who they put you into what we call a debt trap. The amount that we are borrowing, they come with austerity measures. Now, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Honorable Nigel Clark, right, and World Bank Country, Director of Latin America and the Caribbean, right, CT displayed the signed $12 million loan agreement for the Kingston Waterfront Improvement Project. So what people need to understand, that all these loans that we are getting, right, and that's why it's important for me to talk to Ralston Ayman, it comes with what we call austerity measures. Yeah, it comes in terms of what we call austerity measures. What does that mean, people? It simply means that certain programs, right, that the government would like to, certain social programs that the government would like are used to fund, right? Some of these austerity measures is going to result in the government, right, not able to fund those social programs again. So people need to understand it. So when you see the country is borrowing money, remember that it comes with some austerity measures, right? And so then some things what they are promising, you understand, they are not going to be able to deliver. So they need to come out and tell the people the truth. They are not going to be able to deliver. And many of those, right, as a result of the so many borrowing that they are doing, right? So then that goes against fiscal discipline. Because remember, we identify fiscal discipline, right? Is when you reduce your borrowing, right? And try innovative ways and means, you understand, to grow your economy through the process of manufacturing, right? The country need to produce more. Morris Williams said, does PM know what is meant by fiscal and monetary policy? Because Nigel, our finance minister, has no idea of what's inflation exactly. And we are talking to them, Mr. Morris. We are talking to them, right? So then when they talk about the economy is doing well, no. And when you have liars, deceivers, and outright criminals, what you expect? We don't expect better. And the thing about this, why it is extremely serious towards us, because some of these money that they borrowed, we don't know how they are being spent. Because some of that they're going to pocket under this corrupted government. You understand? With inadequate checks and balances. Can you just imagine, what happened in the health sector, right? Where the permanent secretary is saying, as it relates to the appropriation account, cannot be completed on a yearly basis. Those little things. And so then money being missing, can't account for that. Because of what? No appropriation account being done on an annual basis where they know that it's supposed to be done. And then what? The permanent secretary just get off, and then the Jamaica Labour Party defend the permanent secretary with the corruption. So we don't want that, Andrew Wallace. We ask you to leave, right? And stand by for the judiciary, right? So let me show Jamaican people in terms of what I am saying when we talk about fiscal discipline. So then I'm going to go and show you the next document to show you that Jamaica is not doing good. We are exporting more than how we are importing, more than how we are exporting. And that's why the one Terry Langtongue other day came out and want to tell lie that we are exporting more than how we are importing, and you have to take it back 1 week of time. Because remember, we are here in social media. When he realized that we are starting hitting him and showing the proof, and take it down. You understand? Because this is the lie that the Jamaican Labour Party plan to tell and deceive the Jamaican people. So now look on the next clip now. This is the data, empirical data that I'm going to give you, people. Empirical data that I'm going to give you. All right, so I wanted. Okay, so the people are seeing it.
Hold on.
All right, so I share.
Yeah, let me see the font there.
Okay, so I want to share.
Bring it out too much. Then
Share this,
try one.
and this is empirical data that we are talking about. Now, so here it is. Right, so we are going to look under our trading deficit. So if you look under the right, you see we are exports. There it is. $1.95 billion in export. Right? But look at import, people. Look at import. $7.62 billion. So what we are looking on as it relates to trade deficit, by me just looking on this maths, we are looking somewhere as it relates to trade deficit of roughly about $5.8 billion in trade deficit. Right? So just look at that, people. And you're talking about the country is doing good. Now, here is what we are exporting. And if you read, right, the overview in 2022, let us look at some of the things that we are exporting. The top export of Jamaica are refined petroleum, which is $734 million. Petroleum gas, which is $265 million. Aluminum oxide, $246 million. Aluminum ore, $76 million. And hard liquor, $73.3 million, exporting mostly to United States, $1.11 billion. Russia, $99.7 million, right? Canada, $81 million. United Kingdom, $70.8 million. And Iceland, $39.5 million, right? And so then all of that, right, now would reflect as it relates to the $1.95 billion that you are export. But look over here now in terms of what we are importing. Yes, so importing here, here's imports. The top imports of Jamaica are refined petroleum, $973 million. So we have $200 million in deficit. If you look up here on the export, petroleum, refined petroleum, $734 million we are exporting. But yet, now we are importing $973 million. Now in crude petroleum, $440 million, right? We have petroleum gas, $385 million, $330 million as it relates to cars. And packaged medicaments, $148 million. Importing mostly from United States, $2.76 billion. China, $949 million. Trinidad and Tobago, $430 million. Brazil, $371 million. And Turkey, $327 million. When you calculate all of that, comes up to $7.62 billion. A trade deficit of $5.8 billion. Take it away on it. So then when we look at that now, my Jamaican people, right? We are not producing as much so that we can pay down our debt. What we are doing, we are servicing our debt. That's the only thing that we are doing. We are paying millions of dollars in servicing our debt. So I want people to look at that and understand that. Pastor Ricky said Jamaica needs to reopen the factories and start producing products and less import. Yes, Pastor Ricky. That is what we are talking about. So when Andrew homeless people, Pastor Ricky said more dark days are coming, and this is no joke what Pastor Ricky said. No joke. Because we understand the data very well. So then when Andrew homeless coming out and we're gonna do this, import ethnic grain, and this and that, and this and that. Right? I tell him to shut up his mouth. Maurice Williams, impossible for the reopening of the factories with the cost of energy being the highest in the world. Hold on. Because Maurice Williams is right. Right? Maurice Williams is right. And that is one of the reasons, and I'm glad Maurice touched that point, because that is one of the reasons why the government needs to invest in what we call renewable energy. I guess we are some sensible, intelligent people in the chat room. You know? And so then, what the government must move forward, right? And that's why we are saying that JPS, right? As I read on their website, right, where they want to get into the renewable energy market. That is the wrong concept again. Wrong concept again to make JPS with the pressure. You understand? God knows when with high energy as it relates to fossil fuel. Right? And so then what the government need to do is to get out of the monopoly as it relates to JPS. Get out of the monopoly with JPS and push renewable energy. Why the Jamaican government, if you said you love Jamaican people, why not build some businessmen from that and then have, you understand, that they can come in through the ports at minimum duty, or even don't charge them duty because of what they are doing in terms of renewable energy. Why the government don't assist them? Jamaican born, making, you understand, get into entrepreneur by even give them that market. Why not do that? Morris Williams said the extent of Jamaica's production is limited by the cost of energy. Exactly, because, and what Morris is saying, let me explain what Morris is saying. Morris is simply saying, because of the energy cost is so high, right? It dumped us from manufacturing because the cost to manufacture as it relates to the energy is extremely high. And so then any day that we can get rid of, right, that high cost of energy, then we can able to manufacture more, right? So Morris, big up yourself. You understand? I like the witness, right, that is coming out there, right? So Jamaica, when I'm telling you, now let me just cut into the program as we travel down here, Pastor Ricky. Exactly, renewable will break up the monopoly of JPS and will eventually lower utility costs. And let me tell you something, Pastor Ricky. This is one of the expense that is eating majority of our Jamaican people, right? And so then government has to be innovative, right, in moving away from fossil to renewable energy, right, to renewable energy. And we have, you know, my one of my good friend, Dr. John Lennon, right, always speak on this issue, right? And I understand where Dr. John Lennon is going. And if Dr. John Lennon, you are listening to me, big up yourself, Dr. John Lennon, because this is one of Dr. John Lennon's burning issue, right? And he's right. He's right. Now, let us go to...
Okay. Responding to Q2.
All right. Let us traverse on the clips here, my Jamaican people. You understand? Because we are all in this together and we have to fight for beautiful Jamaica, right? And fight for our brothers and sisters. Yes.
Chantal, thank you for reaching out to me on this important issue, and thank you to everyone that tagged me. You're right, Chantal. I did lead the development of the Integrity Commission legislation in Jamaica. And that's because I believe integrity, accountability, and transparency are essential to good governance and to confidence in our elected leaders. We must also make Jamaica internationally competitive and encourage investment. And I believe that reputable investors understand the importance of maintaining a productive workforce and positive worker morale. So Jamaica has to deal with the employment model prevailing in the tourism industry. Too many workers in the industry are employed on recurring short-term contracts, and that denies them some of the basic employee rights and benefits that permanent employees enjoy. Therefore, in keeping with our commitment to eliminate abusive forms of contract work, we must provide security of tenure to workers in the tourism industry. As regards the burning issues you mentioned concerning pay and other conditions of work in service industries like tourism and business process outsourcing that employ many tens of thousands of Jamaicans, We want to encourage the formation of joint industrial councils by which the state will facilitate representatives of industrial employers collaborating to standardize decent pay and working conditions in those industries. And the next PNP administration will also incentivize investments in productivity by repurposing HEART to match employers' investments in training, dollar for dollar. And we're also aware of the housing problems facing tourism workers. So our housing policy includes plans to address this as part of a broader emphasis on affordable housing for Jamaicans who are struggling to get a house. We will need to have some difficult discussions in achieving these things, but Jamaica needs more inclusive, community-based models of tourism with employment arrangements that deliver the full range of basic benefits to our tourism workers. Please, I ask you, please understand, we are not yet in government, and we can only advocate for these changes now. But we are committed to making these changes happen when we are elected. So once again, I thank you for reaching out to me on this, and I appeal to you and others like you to help us to advance our proposals to make the lives of our workers and our people as a whole better. I'm open to more suggestions from you and others who want to join me on this journey to build a Jamaica that is better for all of us. God bless you and thank you once again.
Well, my people,
Listen to the real leader.
there you have it. Listen to real leader. And that is the spirit of democratic socialism, equal opportunity for all people. And when, right, we invest in our people in terms of education and vocational training, right, all of this investment is the most powerful investment any government can have or can attain in terms of investing in the people.
Feel the country is more corrupt now than it was 5 years ago. People gave their views on the issue in the latest Don Anderson poll. The details from Prince Moore.
Corruption has become the hot button topic in Jamaica over the past few months. At the center of the discussion is the Integrity Commission. It is the entity set up to lead the fight against corruption, especially in high places. And Jamaicans are watching on as it produces its work. But how do Jamaicans really feel about corruption in the country at present? The Don Anderson poll put the issue to respondents when it asked, do you feel that there is more corruption in the country now than, say, 5 years ago? Or would you say there is less corruption now than 5 years ago? Or is it about the same as 5 years ago? 65.8% of respondents said they believe there is more corruption now than, say, 5 years ago. 11.1% of those who responded said there is less corruption now than, say, 5 years ago. 17.7% of respondents said they believe corruption now is about the same as, say, 5 years ago. The remaining 5.5% said they don't know. For some sort of comparison, in an earlier Don Anderson poll this year, 30% of respondents indicated that they did not think the Prime Minister had enough control over corruption.
This is something that the nation's leaders should be extremely concerned about. This perception seems to be growing, and it is not what you want people to take away from what's happening in the country. And therefore, the leaders must find a means by which they can change that kind of narrative.
The latest Don Anderson survey was conducted between September 27 and October 3 and included 1,012 respondents, 18 years and older. Prince Moore, TVJ News.
And Jamaican people, we are going to prove simply what Don Anderson said, right? And I'm going to give back a reflection again in SSL, right? We are SSL branded problem institution by FSC 5 years ago. And this is what we are talking about, why people are drifting away from Andrew Holness administration. right, to knowing to the fact that FSC branded SSL as a problem and identified the problem, right? I am going to show that clip, but surprising is the outcome of what FSC said. I am going to show you what FSC said after this clip, as what Dan Anderson spoke about as it relates to the narrative is getting stronger, right, in Jamaica against Andrew Holness as a result of the corruption. Here, SSL branded problem institution by FSC 5 years ago, right? Flag for cultural of non-compliance and mismanagement, right? Substance Security Limited was flagged in 2017 by staff of the Financial Service Commission for a culture of non-compliance and mismanagement of clients' funds. A systemic, you know what the word is? The operative word, a systemic concern that may alarm investors as the company now grapples with $billion fraud. The opinion is contained in an explosive 8-page report prepared by the FSC in February 2017 ahead of meeting with SSL representatives who were trying to convince the regulators not to suspend the license. Right? Now, let us look on some of the findings as it relates to what FSC found. So, here it is. There are also questions on whether SSL had satisfied. Okay, hold on. Let me go back up here. The revelation. All right. So here is some of the problems that was established. It added that SSL has been a problem institution, especially concerning its financial position. The FSC noted that for the 5 years and 6 months leading up to February 2017, the company had been operating under its directions and has remained a problem institution. Here, people, a problem institution for failing to file its annual report for a period up to June 30, 2016, failing to file audit accounts within 90 days of the close of the financial year, and granting credit to related parties in violation of orders issued in 2013. Take that away. Take that away. I'm just going to show the people as it relates to the response of FSC later down. Look at these people amazingly as it relates to Jamaica Labour Party administration, knowing to the fact that FSC had flagged, right, SSL as it relates to their site audit, right, and find several irregularities, several deficiencies, right, and which one of them is misappropriation of client funds. But look at this document as it relates to how FSC respond to that situation. No reason to suspect. Look at this, people. Amazing. Look at this. Here it is, people. In spite of all of what they had found, here is the response. No reason to suspend license. FSC defense position on SSL cites confidentiality as shield from probing questions. Can you imagine that, people? Regulators disclosed when said that they found no reason to suspend or revoke the license of Stocks and Security Limited, SSL, even after the Financial Service Commission, FSC, noted concern about the investment firm's culture of non-compliance and mismanagement of client fund. Now, after what I want to ask now, because since you didn't find any reason to suspend the license, do you find any reason now, knowing to the fact that now 4 billion of investors' money gone? Do you find any reason now? I am talking about the corruption, my brother. The Watchdog Executive Director, Everton McFarlane, said prior to last Thursday's explosive revelation of a multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme, SSL was being monitored by the FSC according to all its protocol. We would have, at that point, no reason to suspend or cancel the license. No, take it away. You are going to tell me, right, my people, let me talk, that FSC carried out an audit, right, and found several discrepancies, right? These are serious discrepancies. One of those discrepancies was the fact that SSL, they found that SSL was misappropriating client investment. So they were actually stealing clients' investment. No, you're going to tell me that did not give FSC any reason to close them down? If they had taken decision in terms of closing them down as it relates to the first audit, right? So many people wouldn't have lost their money. I want to know, what is Nigel Clark, because FSC would have communicated this to Nigel Clark, and Nigel Clark would have communicated this to Andrew Holness, so they would have known about it. Nigel Clark wouldn't stop it, because of course, Andrew Holness has his profile account in SSL, right? Yes. And so the question that I've been asking from day one and still ask now today, we want to know how much money did Andrew Holness put in SSL? Because now, as it relates to the Integrity Commission investigation report, there is no evidence, people, not one striking evidence to show us how much money Andrew Holness actually put in SSL. But what the Integrity Commission investigation report is showing to us, that there is money left out of SSL and went into Andrew Holness' account. So this is what we are talking about as it relates to the high level of corruption in the Jamaica Labour Party. Sister Pat Wagwan. Same to you, my sister.
The gospel.
Aye.
But Mystic.
Yes.
You remember me tell you a couple months ago, said Jamaica coppers don't have no money.
Yep, and you're right.
Money in that country. You remember me tell you?
Yes.
When this man go around and make so much promise, he's going to make tons Clark town in a Silicon Valley. He's going to put three sister market and watch it. He's going to make STEM school. You know me hear anything about them STEM school, eh?
I know. Peer promise.
You hear anything about Silicon Valley?
Peer hot here.
I got on Silicon Valley. When we say anything you see me come up with, man, and you will listen to deep shit that some people we have follow him. And then they conscience this probably some over nationwide. Right? Then conscience and kill them. Why don't know when this man have found them out, him have found them. Jamaica Labour Party. I rock them. Then no sister and they make one man bring down the Labour Party. But this week between everywhere go and chat, they put their foot in their mouth.
Exactly.
And Jamaica people, God bless PJ Patterson. We have social media. We have our blessed best mind like you, lonesome and the whole, and we can't have everybody tell me, listen, the whole entourage. We have broke it down to we understand it. And we can't see how we all live out here. See it too. We don't live France, you know, Filipino, and family member, live in a pocket, they make them a car. They don't know how to know all life, all everything. And
Exactly.
beg them a beg. If they say, well, go on now, before the conversation done, I think them a look how they can do better. Some of them are not do, they don't want to do better. Let me show you something mystic. The people around we call it a demonstrate.
Yes.
The Minister of Labor, Minister of Tourism, before you meet with the people, listen what they have to say. Even if you not tell lies, we know no liar. But make sue them and give them a little pampering.
Exactly.
And you couldn't find it to meet with them, but you find it to go bust champagne and drink tea with hierarchy. That is a slavery. People, she said, Jamaican people are under slavery. We under slavery. The only difference is that we don't have the shackle on our foot. Right now, we can't talk certain things because man can look for you on your bed. And one time you could tell Sister P, tell Portia, tell man anything. Nobody cares about you because you're right. It's what you want to say. One thing, threaten them, say, you'll take their lives. You know, see what happen, but me have to tell you, every morning, every night, me pray, me put on my prayer. Me ask God to cover on, bless on. Not only uno pick me because uno are the Marcus Garvey, uno are the Paul Bogle, uno are the Nanny, uno are the Kodjo for we. Uno are the Kodjo for we. And me I tell you from the bottom of my heart, we appreciate you. We thank you. We thank you. And me say, at this time when I got work, I play the tape on them. One woman say, how will you get this from? Me say, read it for yourself. Look on date. Nobody now tell lie. See it there. You must say, what? True that now. And then never call me. Which program I come now? Me say, subscribe and hit the bell. We tell you. Don't bother me. We are Jamaican media. Corrupt everything. There's a Trump bill up over Jamaica. A few days from now, we're supposed to get some rain. And the people are wait until the pipe down to a broadcast. We tell people, the people are foreign. When we have follow the channel, so the amount of rain we are going to follow there. Me I watch them in a year, nobody I tell them, say, those who live in lower line, don't wait until the minute. Do something, man. Try to do something. Mighty God. You're the pastor of them. And to hold the man to drop in and drown. Man drop in and drown. Eh? That's true. Drop in and drown.
Drop in and drown.
Since even me that one spot, I want me look, me see what I mean. Remember, from push stick. Here one woman. You look at your foot. Your neck. Big labor right, you know.
I'll call him back.
Big labor right. She said, me say, what you say?
All right.
He said, anyway, come on, big up on yourself, continue beat them and teach it.
Yes.
And young people, look out for yourself.
All right.
People with no grand picnic, what better than them.
All right.
It's not easy.
See him, sir.
Just get paid since the evening. And a crackers and tea, me have to drink at me. We like me a spike.
Aye.
Without notice.
My God.
Double me should pay 4, 5, and 9,700, and I see him sit me around. What a wickedness.
What a wickedness.
Anyway,
all right, sister.
All
right, bless up, my sister.
Yeah, man, me like the Titans last night, man.
Yeah, man.
You had someone?
Yeah, man, the Titans bad, man.
I couldn't sleep.
Aye. Yeah, man, Titans will give it to them. All right. Okay. All right. Pastor Ricky, that?
Oops, hold on. 1 sec. Yes, use my finger. Hello? Okay, it's calling back.
All right. Hi, Pastor Ricky. How you doing, my brother?
Big respect, Sir Byron. You beat it till the upper bed.
All right. There you go.
Big respect, Lady Anne-Marie. God bless you. We thank God for the both of you.
Yeah, man. We
You know, the Prime Minister is in the last of his last days in his political career.
Yes.
And, you know, he's very desperate right now. He's being disingenuous, as you can see, the unrealistic promises and the empty promises he's running around making, knowing that there's no funds that was allotted, you know, appropriated in the fiscal year that we're in budget.
Exactly.
Any capital expenditures or any expense that he's gonna have will have to come in the next year budget in March.
Yeah.
So for him to go around making all these promises. He's just a pathological liar. And unfortunately, what he should be doing is preparing the nation, the island, for recession. Whenever you have in America 4 straight quarters of no growth or low growth, those are red flags, indicators that the economy is heading into a recession.
And you're right.
And so when you look at, I believe it was the first quarter, the economy only grew by 1.9%. And then the second quarter, it grew by 0.01%. It almost flat line. And that was the last quarter before barrel. And so barrel numbers are supposed to be coming out shortly, maybe by next week or the first week of November. But barrel numbers are going to come out, and it's going to show negative growth because the agriculture sector, which was shut down, which is one of the sector that they have for export besides bauxite and all of those things. But anyhow, it's going to show negative growth because we know it's been decimated by the barrel.
Yes.
So technically, the economy is in a recession, but I don't know why he's not preparing the nation for it, because in America, and I would think the same thing happens in Canada and the UK, whenever the country, I remember in 2008, when the country was going in a recession, the government told the media, and the media informed the nation, so that's what he should be doing, that by telling people to cut back on their spending and trying to save some more. The dollar is depreciating, like it's bleeding, and every time the dollar depreciates, it raises the cost of living. When the cost of living is raised, it lowered the cost of the life expectancy, because now people can't afford food and medications and the thing that they need to stay healthy. So it reveals that technically he doesn't care. He's like heartless, careless about the people. And I think he's on the ropes. The walls are closing in, and he's in the last, how we say in church, we're in the last days, and it's so true. But he's in the last days of his political career. And I pray that when he leaves office, that he will never put foot back in Jamaica, because he hasn't done anything technically to improve the lives of the people in Jamaica. When you look at what Norman Manley accomplished, when you look at what Michael Manley accomplished, when you look at what P.J. Patterson accomplished, and of course, these are Prime Minister, the most honorable, so let me give them their title and respect, and also Mama P. When you look at their accomplishments, everything they did was to improve the lives of the people, whether it's building schools or colleges, universities, or programs like NHT, art, all roads, infrastructure. He hasn't done anything. And then what he is now banking on is that, NIDS that he has tried to implement, and it was struck down in the court, and now they revise it. When you look at Zozo, which was struck down in the court, and SOEs for state of emergency and zone of operation, everything he has done is to destroy the lives of the people. So the only time he deserves is a sentence in prison for 50 years. He's a criminal. And I take no apology for saying that, because the IC report reveals that.
Speak your mind.
Yeah, the IC report, the Integrity Commission is an investigational body that investigate corruptions and financial crimes like he has exposed in these reports. So, if you and I did half, even a quarter what he did, we would be behind bars.
Exactly.
So he's a criminal, and I make no apology about it. He's a criminal.
Speak your mind, my brother.
Yeah, he should. If he was in a first world country like the UK, America, or Canada, he would have been forced to resign, and they would have waited till he left office and indict him. Trump was so radical in office, and the US, they have this agreement. It's not in the Constitution. It's just an agreement that you don't indict a sitting president. But once he left office, he picked up 4 indictments and 91 charges and was convicted on one of the indictments for 34 counts. So, you know, this prime minister doesn't honor the rule of law nor the Constitution. And he's a disgrace to Jamaica. He's brought Jamaica in disrepute all over the world. Everybody's talking about his financial crimes. And we're not going to sugarcoat it. They're financial crimes. And so he should be held accountable, him and his government. You know, it's a magnet. JLP party's a magnet for criminals. You know, anywhere they leave America and go back to Jamaica as criminals and go into the Jamaica Labour Party. And it's sad because they're not lawmakers, they're lawbreakers, and they need to be prosecuted, all of them. So,
Right.
you know, we're all dependent on Comrade Leader Mark Golden to change a lot of laws via the Constitution, rewrite it, you know, get out of the British, because this Constitution, current Constitution, has so many loopholes in it to enable criminals to do wrong and not held accountable. I believe that we need a Jamaica brand of the U.S. version of the FBI. It should be called the JBI, Jamaica Bureau of Investigations. And you should put the IC, the FID, MOCA, and TikTok. And I think there's another investigation body in Jamaica. Put them all under there. Get rid of the DPP office. Get rid of the DCP office. They're all compromised, and that's why no one is being held accountable. So, you know, let's keep praying for Comrade Leader Mark Golden, because he has a huge challenge. He's going to inherit a huge mess in the economy, and then he has to regulate the banking laws, because you saw what happened to FinSec and Paul Cheng Young and Associate and SSL. So he's going to have to, and even the IC report with Beretta, you know, the crime minister had unsecured loan of $50 million with proposed collateral, but wasn't written down in an agreement. So there's so many changes that Comrade Leader Mark Golden is going to have to do to bring back Jamaica to the level where we can trust government once again. Because everybody has lost trust and confidence in this government, and it's a shame, man. But I want to thank you and Lady Anne Marie, man, because your program is always informative and very educational. I will not stop. Raise up the bomb of them.
All right.
Pick up on yourself, man.
Thank you very much.
Have a blessed night.
Thank you very much, Pastor Ricky. Pastor Ricky is quite.
Fight against corruption and holding government accountable.
Yes, yes. All right.
Big respect. Have a blessed night.
Same to you, Pastor Ricky. Pastor Ricky is quite adept, I'm telling you. All right. Everything that Pastor Ricky said is true. All right. Yes, you're on Mystic Sensation. Please go ahead, my friend.
Shalom, my brother.
Boy, the night wouldn't have, you know, call, you know, Uriel, me I look for your call, you know. You know that?
No, mommy, that call, but too busy.
Okay.
I raise up your blood pressure.
As usual.
No, man, I am really get sick of the money face for my TV, you know.
Me too.
You know, would I prefer to read when you say.
You know what I see him.
But you're real. We have to keep check with our enemies so that we know how to counter them. So we have to listen to what he's saying. We have to read what he's saying to know what he's up to.
No, but I understand the work. But the man doesn't sick Mr. Mama, because every time the man talk, the man just starts on something. I don't know who he believe what he say. Not even him himself will say, don't believe what he was saying.
No, he don't believe it.
He can't drink much more.
Look, the man claimed that the country is in steady hand.
My God. Unbelievable.
The only unsteady in this country of him, and because he collect all their money.
All right.
So you don't know what you matter about.
Crazy man.
And for the life of me, I cannot believe that even at this stage, this late stage, right, of the report on FinSec and so forth, the man still come out and defend in party. We wrap up so much money in the double down.
The double down in the wrongdoing.
I mean, say, we don't know what the people have to yourself. Them people are just wicked, conniving.
But you're right. You are wicked and hardly, Sha. I him wicked. The man that on the debate, you know. And the man I hit Omar Davis, you know. And then after I go back Omar for help, you know. Wicked man.
No, people are serious, man. And for the life of me, I cannot understand. In a 21st century, or 22nd century, where we have so much information at our fingertips. The man is still pretending like we did back in the 60s when there is no way we could get information away from where they step on the political platform.
You see the man, them are political dinosaurs, them man.
And you have people who sit down in the audience and listen to the people that do their foolishness.
Me, I tell you.
One of the things though, me look on the facial expression are we erudite finance minister. Nigel we jump ship, right?
Yes.
Even when he man read out what is going to happen to those who are implicated into the meltdown of the SSL.
Yes.
Whenever watching facial expression, to know say the man knows what he must say. Right here, so.
Pure lie.
You know, read my facial expression and know say everything I say has to just do a public a PR thing to get comfortable.
Vicious man.
Oh, you tell me you come tell me 2 months ago say, well, we have some money to pay out SSL customer, and now I got 2 weeks later I tell me say, boy, the thing bankrupt, the thing wind down, we put it in a receivership. What kind of foolishness them?
I tell you, vicious. Vicious to the people.
And people still listen and back them people with them things there.
Why?
I don't know what we're planning.
I just think some people just naturally have some criminal mindset, yeah, man. What else to say? You know?
Okay, I don't know better that's so there.
Exactly.
You can't even find an English word to describe the people.
Terrible, man.
Because people still out there claim say the man not thief the money. and me, I tell the Jamaican people who are listening across the earth, say this man then thief up the whole of the something money. The money will come during the pandemic. I hit the thief and be a wash out about the place.
Yeah. No checks and balance.
Me didn't matter about the SSL money yet, but
and take
the
all
pandemic
the
money will come to help black people, help us. Right? He barely give us about 5,000 people $10,000 out of it.
Vicious, man.
Right?
Vicious.
And nobody know where the money they gone. Where you gone? Where the money there?
But everybody going to have to pay it back. Even the future generations going to have to pay it back who didn't benefit.
Yeah, because that rest on the taxpayers to pay it back. And that is the viciousness of it.
That's why they should seize them assets once if they're proven guilty and get liquidize them and put the money back into where it's supposed to go so that they can start paying back some of the debts.
Alright, Byron.
Well, I mean, it's vicious, my brother.
Yeah, terrible. But what they are what? Because we can tell them, say, think Jamaican people are going to sit down. Think they're going to sit down and watch him go take over the financial portfolio. I think we're going to allow that.
No, we can't allow that.
We're trying to encourage him.
When he's the subject of an investigation, I don't think that can happen.
But
whenever discourage him, we encourage him not to go there.
How many things he want to manage, and all he manage already is the money going in his pocket and nothing going anywhere.
This is unbelievable.
But he unsteady hands.
Well, if he unsteady, and so much damage done, one if it was shaky.
What's up?
Oh, God.
Well, look, Paul, Mr. Wagwan, look.
All right.
Listen.
All right, my brother.
Big up yourself here, sir.
All right, bless yourself.
Nice program.
All right, cool. Thanks.
But you know, people keep saying that the economy has grown 0.1, and you cannot call that a growth. You have to call it a spout, and it not even come out of the ground properly. You have to go move with the dirt to the little spout. So we need to stop using the word growth because
that is no growth.
Growth. That is just a spout that you can't even stay unless you move away the dirt.
You mean if you say the economy spout?
The economy spouted.